Prejudging just wrapped up for the Tampa Pro. We are still in the venue, and I wanted to give you guys my honest review while everything is still fresh in my mind. Starting off with the shock, Deak Walker not even being in the first call out. Now, there has been a lot of talk about Deak doing multiple shows back to back to back to back. And we've talked about how he's gotten better and better and better. But here in Tampa, it doesn't look like that trend continued. Now, again, was he out of shape? No. Was there a lack of fullness? Maybe, but the biggest thing was his physique just looked tired. It didn't have the necessary or the reminiscent pop that we're used to seeing from him. So that's the first thing, right? Deak is somebody who truly made a name for himself this season. He has shocked the entire industry and division. But after the Tampa Pro, as much as I want to see him, you guys heard, I wanted him to win the show. I had him winning the show. I do believe after seeing today the physique that he brought, it might be better for him to shut it down. Now, next, Sadik. Guys, there was a lot of hype about Sadik coming into the show after what he brought to the Chicago Pro stage. Now, first things first, he looked significantly improved. There was no question that the Sadik here in Tampa would have shattered the Sadik then in Chicago. But as a fan of Sadik, as somebody who truly wants to see him succeed, I was a little underwhelmed with the package that he brought today. Now, I will say this. The conditioning was significantly improved. The fullness wasn't what I thought. After seeing the live stream last week and being in person this week, he just didn't have the fullness that it looked like he had in Chicago. But I do believe the streamlined version of what he brought is still better. Now, he did fix his posing. That's the one thing I have to say. He fixed his posing dramatically. And I think that if he can find a combination of the fullness that he had in Chicago and the conditioning that he had today, he can qualify for the Olympia. But we're down to the wire for qualifications. And everybody is still fighting and vying for those final spots. There's only a few shows left. And I do believe that this was his best chance compared to the future shows because of how many people who are still going to be battling it out. So it does look like Sadik is going to be in that 5th, 6th place spot. He was all the way on the outside of the first callouts. And though his placing might have fallen or at least staying the same, he absolutely brought a better package. And again, the goal with this sport is just getting better and better with each show, and he did that. Next up, we have Mario Stewart. Now, I feel like a fool for not putting him in that first call out. But again, I was still extremely impressed with the look he brought in Chicago, and he got so much better this week when he brought it to Tampa. So Mario is somebody with a streamlined physique, somebody who's not too big, somebody who's not too small, somebody who has a good amount of conditioning, and also just a clean look for the division. Mario is definitely going to be one of those first call-out guys at almost any show that he does for the remainder of this year. Now, I still want to see a tighter look compared to the top two. But nonetheless, Mario brought it, man. It's really cool to see new faces emerging in this division, and he is definitely somebody for years to come who's going to be in those top spots vying for an Olympia qualification. Now, you guys heard me speak about Shakri last week. Again, he has a freak factor of size. We talked about this in the Men's Physique Radio podcast regarding whether or not he was too big for the division or not. Seeing him in person, he is certainly more streamlined than it looks like on photos and videos, but his size definitely stood out. And mainly through his chest. He is full as a house. And he's somebody who could actually come in the shows flat and still be bigger than everybody. Now, Ahmad looked amazing. Again, his posing was significantly better than Chicago. He held his shots for an extended period of time. He looked comfortable on stage. I just don't believe that with the package that he brought compared to who's judging the show. Keep in mind, who is judging the show? Tyler Mannion. That his look is going to be rewarded right now until he continues to streamline. He took off last year to streamline his physique. It definitely streamlined, but it's still big. He needs to continue to streamline, especially when you're getting in front of Tyler Mannion. But he looked amazing. I'm a massive fan of his physique, massive. And I do believe it's only a matter of time for him to punch his ticket to the Olympia stage. Again, it's gonna happen. But he's one of those people where he walks out, you're just like, holy shit, like that is a big ass dude. When it comes to our top two, we have a veteran who has been to the Olympia stage multiple times, has won multiple pro shows just this year. And then we have a rookie who just got his IFBB Pro card earlier this season and is now vying for the Olympia qualification. These guys have very similar but different physiques. Now let me explain. When Sinet Ricardo walks out, he's a freak factor. He just looks extremely wide. And again, he just fills out his frame so much better than I thought. And the main thing with him is he fixed his posing. Now, when you're going against a veteran like Mehdi Kabaj, the biggest thing that I noticed is he controlled all of his variables extremely well on stage. He was comfortable on stage. He hit his front shot, he held his front shot. Now, both of them needed to work on their posing coming into the show. They both did that. Mehdi really looked comfortable on stage this week. Again, he hit his front shot, looked a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more men's physique comfortability. And again, you would think when they say gentlemen face the curtains, that Sadik, what everybody knows him for is his back, would blow everybody away. Now, though he might have edged him out, I don't think it was a blowout. When Mehdi faced the curtains, guys, it shocked me. I always knew Mehdi had a good back, but again, compared to one of those freak factor backs I was shocked, man. I was really impressed with the way that Mehdi held his own on stage against somebody who was just known for more of a freak factor, and Mehdi more as a streamlined look. Now, if you guys had to ask me right now who I believe is gonna win, this is truly a coin flip. I truly do not know who would win. I would not feel comfortable putting my money on this, but I'm leaning more towards Mehdi only because he controlled his variables on stage, whereas Sadik did have a tendency of breathing through his midsection a little bit more. But in the same breath, I do believe they're gonna work these guys at finals again, and wouldn't be surprised if they called just those guys out for a final two and ran them through it. Because if Sadik can clean up those variables, I do believe he could edge Mehdi out. But if Mehdi continues to do what he's already been doing, it might be lights out. But nonetheless, guys, that is the wrap up for the Tampa Pro prejudging. Congratulations to everybody who stepped on stage. Again, the division is heating up. We're so excited. We're getting down to the wire of Olympia qualifications. And again, this show, it was a movie.